Everyone knows the story of Mrs. Robinson, the older woman who seduces the younger man and ends up becoming an object of desire and lust for a much younger demographic. This same image has been portrayed in other movies like American Pie. I mean, everyone knows Stifler's mom. For me, though, I never really found a desire for an older woman. Not that I didn't have opportunity. I mean, a majority of the people that I hung out with were older than me. I hung out with a lot of my mom's friends, my aunt's friends. I was always surrounded by older people. And it wasn't until I became slightly infatuated with a much older woman who worked next door to me that I actually realized that having an older woman might actually live up to all the hype. And this, my friends, is the beginning of the story of the one with the older woman. For about 4.5 years, I worked for a mom and pop pizza franchise. And people who know me know how much I hated it, but also loved it. I was moved around to different locations, and it wasn't until I was working at a location in Ballackinwood that I met who, for respect and privacy purposes, we're going to call D. D worked for a real estate developer whose office was right next door to my job. And she wasn't really my type, if you could say I even had one. I mean, I liked women, all women, tall, short, thick, thin. But she was different. She was funny and down to earth, and I found myself aimlessly flirting with her, assuming she was straight. It was always my goal to break a straight girl. I mean, I feel like that's most gay women's goals at one point or another, is to get a straight girl and turn her out. That's what I wanted to do. So I was aimlessly flirting with this woman who was, I was guessing, about 15 to 20 years older than me. And it wasn't until the day that I made a joke about stopping the flirting because I didn't want to make her feel uncomfortable, because I knew that she batted for the all-boys team, that she laughed at me and said, "We have more in common than you think." And she winked at me and walked out. So I took that as the damn green light, and I was like, okay, it's on. I had just gotten out of a really tumultuous, bad relationship. And it was abusive and mentally and emotionally draining, and I was not, under any circumstances, looking to start over with anybody else. Not in a serious romantic way, anyway. But I was historically known for bouncing from one vagina to the other when I wasn't really feeling comfortable or when I was sad. And D was no exception. And the second that I found out that sis actually liked girls, that was all the initiative I needed. And so the wooing began. I'm an aimless flirter, something that my now wife finds amusing and irritating. But I loved it. Every single time she would come into the restaurant, I would already have her stuff ready to go. She ordered the same thing every day. The second I saw her walking in the front door, I would already start her food. So by the time she got up to the register, it would be ready. My coworkers used to laugh at me and say that I was, oh no, she's in love again. Oh, she got her a little boo again. But no, I just wanted to show that I had an interest, that I paid attention. That's all some women really need from you, is to notice that you pay attention. So guys out here listening, sometimes that's all a woman wants you to do is pay attention. If every single time you see a woman, she has the same kind of coffee, maybe next time you see her, catch her before she hits the Starbucks and get her a coffee. But for me, I knew the best way to get to this particular person was just to show her attention. Flirt a little bit. Make it cute. Make it sexy. But I was never expecting her to flirt back. I thought I was just going after something I could never have. So fast forward a couple of weeks of my aimless flirting. Dee started giving me gifts as well. I'm an avid coffee drinker, and anybody that knows it knows that I drink coffee more than I drink anything else. So one day I was sitting outside of the job. I was smoking a cigarette before anybody else got there, and Dee pulls into the parking lot, gets out of the car, and hands me a cup of coffee. And says, I thought, since we're getting each other little gifts, I thought maybe I could return the favor. And in that moment, I was like, okay, maybe she's feeling the vibe too. Maybe I can, turn this up a notch. I started complimenting her outfits, the way she dressed, the way she carried herself. And I would get a laugh or a giggle, a slight blush would, hit her cheeks. But it wasn't until one Friday night that I really said, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna go for it. Dee's office had a bar, a tabletop bar, where I'm assuming when they were entertaining possible clients, they would make them drinks. Scotch, brandy, all the bougie alcohol. So one Friday night that I was working, I decided that I was going to take her food up to the office instead of making her come down to get her food. The back door was unlocked, so I walked up the steps to the second floor and knocked on the office door and realized she was in there by herself. I handed her her food and said, you don't got to worry about giving me a tip. Maybe I could get a shot. She looked over, smiled, and said, okay, what kind of shot do you want? Now me, I go for what I want, so I said it, whichever shot's going to get me in your pants. And she laughed, said, that's cute, and said, do you drink vodka? I said, I drink anything. She handed me a shot of vodka. I took the shot, and I asked how long she was going to be in the office. She told me she was going to be there pretty late. It was Friday. She said, I'm single, newly single, and that she had no plans of going home anytime soon. And I said, do you mind waiting until 11? Because that's when I get off. And then, you can take me home. And she said, which home are you referring to? I remember this whole conversation like it was yesterday. This was some of my greatest work, guys. This was some of my greatest flirting. I said, we'll see how you feel at 11. I said, you can either take me home or you can take me home with you. So I went back to work, went about my business, and at 11 o'clock, I walked back up to her office. Naturally, I changed out of my uniform. Had on my tights, my cami, nothing else, and my cute little leather boots, and sat up on her desk and aimlessly flirted while she finished closing up the rest of her day. I mentioned to her that I had a dream about her the other day. She said, well, what kind of dream are we talking about? And she said, I had a dream that we were here in this very office and you took me into that boardroom over there and threw me on the desk and had your way with me. She said, well, you have quite the imagination, little girl. And I said, I'm not a little girl. I said, I'm 22 years old. And I said, I know what I want. I said, what I want right now is you. But I said, since I'm distracting you from your work, I said, I'm just going to go powder my nose. Walked into the bathroom, was reapplying some lip gloss and some eyeliner when she came up behind me. God, I used to be so fun. And she went for it. she pushed me up against the wall, held my hands up above my head, and gave me what it was I was begging for. She was a lot taller than me, like a lot taller than me. I don't usually do overly tall women, but she was very much taller than me. At least 5'8", 5'11", like she was tall. And at the time I was tiny. It's a little tiny little thing, and she lifted me up and put me on the sink. And she just went for it. She was just gripping me up and feeling me up and just putting her mouth anywhere that she could, anywhere that wasn't covered by clothes. And before I knew it, I was giving into it. I was giving it to her the same way she was giving it to me. Everyone's clothes stayed on, guys. We didn't do anything at that time yet. And that was when she told me that she better take me home. Naturally, I was disappointed. I mean, I thought I put it on her enough that she wanted to bring me home with her. She told me in all due time. But she drove me home and we talked and we really got to know each other. I told her about my ex and our really abusive relationship, and she told me about her ex in a similar situation they were in. It was long distance. She said at her age, she's trying to find someone to settle down with, get married, have kids, and she said that person wasn't the right fit for her with that. We talked and it took about 30, 45 minutes to take me home. She dropped me off, gave me a kiss on the cheek, and I said, when can I go to your place and we can finish what we started upstairs? And she said, soon, little girl, very soon. The next day I got to work and sis was waiting outside with a cup of coffee with a shot of vodka in it. She said, happy Saturday. And I said that if she wasn't doing anything tonight, I thought maybe we could hang out, get to know each other. And she said, you're just trying to get in my bed. I said, it doesn't have to be the bed. It could be the floor, the couch, the shower. But she said, yeah. So went on about my day, and she said that I'll come get you at 11 when you're off. So she waited outside for me at about 11 o'clock and took me to her place. And it was the first time I ever hung out with someone, and the first night we didn't do anything. We really just played video games and talked, listened to music. We did shots. We really connected and really got to know each other as friends. Before I knew it, I was spending almost every other day at her apartment. We finally graduated to sex, which was amazing. Like insane. My previous relationship, it was more of a stud femme type of situation. So I was more or less used as a pillow princess. I didn't get to do anything to my partner, and with her I got to do whatever the fuck I wanted to do, which was a lot of fun. And one night we were laying up in her room watching a movie, and she turned to me and she said, would it be okay if she asked me to do something to her, like sexually? And I said, it depends. I said, I'm not really into a lot of stuff, but I said, like, I'm open. Like, what is it? Like, what is it you want me to do? And she said, I want you to, like, fist me. Y'all, I was like, no way. Like, what? Then she kind of explained, like, how to do it. And, you know, it started off, you know, slow, and it was like normal. We were just making out and touching and feeling each other up. And she guided me the whole way through it. She guided me to how to do it, how to placement and everything. And it was low-key hot. Like, I had never in a million years thought I would ever do something like that. And then to actually do it was actually kind of hot. Now, granted, I never did it to anyone else before or after this. Never again. But it was actually kind of invigorating. It was like, Like, damn, it's been a while since I made a girl my bitch. And it was actually a lot of fun. Outside of sex and all that, we actually built like a really good friendship, and we would hang out and we would just chill. And I had an opportunity to leave my job and go work for like an actual company. I have like a real girl, like a big girl job. And when I told Dee, she literally picked me up from work one day and took me shopping at Lord & Taylor to get clothes for my job. I didn't even get the job, and she literally took me to Lord & Taylor, gave me her credit card, and said, buy whatever it is you need. Business professional, business casual, whatever it is you need, just get it. And I wanted these boots that I saw in the window at Lord & Taylor, and I actually had these same boots up until I went to New York about a year and a half ago. So we're talking about 5 years I've had these shoes. But I was all nervous. I was like, they're so expensive. Like, I can't. Like, you really can't. And she was like, no, you're doing a lot for me. You're being there for me emotionally and physically and sexually. So let me be here for you. Let me do something nice for you. She was like, you always do so much for all these other women. Let me take care of you. And with that, sis had a whole new wardrobe, new shoes, got her hair done, her nails done. Sis got $120 and was able to live her life freely. We weren't in a committed situation. I was able to talk to other people. I was able to mess with other people. Not that I did. I've always been a one woman. If I was sleeping with you regularly, then I didn't sleep with anybody else. If it was just us sleeping together, then I didn't jump into bed with somebody else. Not unless that was our arrangement. So this went on for a couple of months. It was from like damn near November to like March. We had a lot of fun together. We hung out. We had amazing sex. We fulfilled each other's needs at that moment, like what we both needed. And it wasn't until St. Patrick's Day weekend that we realized that we had to stop what we were doing. Mostly because she was starting to catch feelings, like real feelings for me. And she said that she didn't want to walk down the same path she did with her ex. If she had to give up a relationship with someone because that person wasn't ready for a family commitment and marriage, then she didn't want to force me at 20-something to jump into that kind of role if I wasn't ready. Now, granted, I was ready. Like, I've always wanted a family. I've always wanted kids. I've always wanted marriage. I always knew that was something that I wanted. Now, did I want it at 22 when I was in my thotting and bopping days? Probably not. But with her, I could almost see that, like, we really fit. Like, we were both career driven. We both liked the same type of movies and TV shows. We both enjoyed each other's company. I had met her best friend. She had met mine. We really fit. It almost seemed like I'd finally found something that I was looking for, and it just so happened to come in an older, taller package. But we sat down and we curled up on her couch, and I told her that I didn't think it would work. And we both agreed to go our separate ways. However, she was getting ready to move out of her apartment and get her own place, like an actual house. And she asked if I wanted to help her, like if I wanted to go with her, because we were still hanging out regularly. So even though we were no longer sleeping together, she said, I'm moving into my place next week. You've been such a big help to me in looking for a place and trying to settle in a place. You should be the first person who gets to be in the place. So the night she moved in, she ordered me an Uber. I came over her place and we hung out. We ate pizza. We unpacked boxes. We moved furniture. We painted walls. We talked. We giggled. She made me an account on Tinder so that I could meet somebody my own age. And we just hung out, and it was fun and easy. And I genuinely cared for her. And that last night that we spent together was the most genuine moment of my life, I'd really found someone that respected me enough to tell me that it wasn't the right time. No one else had ever looked me in my face and told me, even though they enjoyed my company and they enjoyed the sex and they enjoyed the fun, that it wasn't the right time. And even now, we still keep in touch. She reached out to me when I got married. She reached out to me when my grandmother passed. She reached out to me when my friends had kind of, ghosted on me. And she checked in on me. She kept tabs on me, kind of. And at first I was like, we didn't work out, but like, you're still checking in on me. And she says, I'm always going to check in on you, kid. And I really made a friend for life. And although I do miss the clothes and the money and the fun and the experimental sex and the free drinks, I also know that sometimes the things we think we want really aren't what we need. And Dee taught me that. She taught me a lot of things. But she mostly taught me that sometimes it's the right person for us and it's just the wrong time. But that you can always learn something from a person and gain something from a person that maybe you didn't realize you needed until you needed it. And that's my Mrs. Robinson story. And who knows? Maybe in another life we could have been living it up, lavishly, career-driven, having everything we both wanted. But I'm kind of glad that it didn't end out like that.